to another episode of A Drummer's Guide to. So, I want to talk about getting your foot in the door. This may end up being not exactly what you expect, but it's fine. Just go with it. It's all good. I'll tell you a story at the very least. So, I'm going to tell you about when I was 18? No. Yes. No, 17. 17? 2008. 19. 20! Oh my gosh, I'm such a nightmare. I was 20 and it was the end of 2007. I had left school, sort of 2.5 years after I'd left school. I was trying to make it as being a professional. I was going to auditions and things like that sporadically, but not getting anything. And I was playing in covers bands. I was still living at home. I was just about making enough money to sort of cover my phone bill and maybe have a little bit of money to go out and see gigs. And yeah, I was in a very frustrated position and time of my life. All I wanted to do is be a professional. My best friend at the time was just away touring all the time, and I would watch her and just be like, well, why am I not doing that? Am I not good enough? I want to be doing that. It was a really frustrating time for me, and yeah, all I wanted to be was a professional and earn a living, and not living at home living, moving out living. So in 2007, I don't remember when, it may have, it was towards the end of the year, I got a phone call, and it was from a manager and saying about an audition that had come up, and I was recommended by her husband, was a front of house engineer for a friend of mine. So I went to this audition. It was a band called The Hours, and they were kind of like an indie band. I'd heard a couple of their songs before on the radio. They were really cool, and it turned out they wanted like a second drummer, stroke percussionist type role. It was basically a stand-up drummer thing. And I went down and I did this audition, and I thought it went really well, and they were all really, really nice, and the songs were great. And yeah, I left. And then I don't think I heard anything at all, and or maybe I did, and they sort of said, well, someone else has got it. It turned out to be a friend that I'd known before, and I was like, yeah, that makes total sense. He's an amazing drummer, and, you know, totally cool. Because at that point I was so used to the rejection, I was just like, okay, well, of course you don't want me because no one else has, so why would you? Anyway, in January 2008, I got a phone call, and it was that same manager, and they said to me, yeah, so the guy that they wanted basically has had some other commitments come in, and would you be up for doing the gig? And I was like, oh, yeah, amazing. They were like, great, okay, so we've got rehearsals that start like next week. So it all happened really, really quickly, and all of a sudden I was in a band that had an album out. You know, I was a session drummer. I was a professional. It was like literally overnight. And I was just in my own element. It was great. And for the next, was it year and a half, we did so much. We were sort of like, we went on tours, we were supporting people, like we did a couple of tours with the Twang, we did some shows supporting Oasis, we did a gig in New York in Sotheby's, and Bono got up to come and play us a couple of songs, which was just like mental. We recorded an album, and like Jarvis Cocker was guesting on it, and you know, we had Damien Hirst involved, and it was this massive thing. I mean, we had bits of Damien Hirst artwork in the studio, just there, like the spun skulls and the dot paintings. It was just this incredible kind of like world that I'd never seen before, and I was like, this is amazing. Not only do I get to play music, I'm sort of like around all these very creative souls, and it really felt like, I don't know, I'd made it, and it felt like I did not only have my foot in the door, I was in the door, I was through the door, I was down the corridor, and it was this incredible feeling. And as I said, sort of stayed together for a year and a half, and then a few members sort of like left. It sort of disbanded basically in 2009, middle of 2009. And yeah, to me, I was like, cool, but that's alright, because people know me now, people are going to be calling, all that sort of stuff. And aside from the fact that they didn't. And actually, it wasn't like that at all. And I actually ended up going back to doing exactly what I was doing before I joined the band. I mean, through this period, I had actually moved out. So I was living, where was I living? In North London. Yeah, I was living in North London with a friend of mine. Ended up moving to South London with another friend, and yes, I was moved out. I was paying rent, which I'd never really done before. I was supporting myself fully from this band, and then all of a sudden I wasn't, and I was like, oh wow, okay, so I need to find I need to find some work. So I was doing covers gigs, I was doing function gigs, I was still playing with like a few originals artists here and there, some really interesting artists actually, who unfortunately didn't really do much, which is such a shame, but you never know, they may in the future. And for a year, was it a year? Yeah, it would have been a year. I basically was scrambling and scrabbling around, sort of just about making my rent every month, thinking that I'll be fine, people will call because, you know, I'm known now. No, it's not how it works. Just because you've had one gig, it doesn't mean that everyone's going to be knocking down your door. It's like, no, you've got to graft. You've just got to keep grafting. Even when you've got a gig, keep grafting, because at some point, everything has to end. At some point, you're going to have to move on to something else, and that might be under your control, not under your control. It doesn't matter. You've just got to keep sort of like, yeah, just keep going, basically. And in that year, I basically realised how to do things like learn songs a lot quicker, because I had to, because I was working with so many people, because I had to pay my rent, and not one band couldn't support what I needed. So that's, in that year, that's when I learnt about charting and learning songs really, really quickly. Again, it was the reality of how much work needed to be done in order to support myself, in order to pay my rent and feed myself. I remember at one point, I think I was spending 13, very specific, pounds a week on my food, because I just couldn't afford anything more than that, because I was paying for like petrol to get to gigs and things like that, and that was a lot to me. You know, it was probably about 30 quid a week on petrol. The reason that I'm saying all this, because I keep running across old notebooks that basically have my day-to-day like plans in them, and it just made me realise how far I've sort of come. But in that year, so middle of 2010, I guess it was when I got that phone call from Brian Ferry, and that's when I got asked to literally do a gig the following day. And if I hadn't have taken the time in that year in between of being in what I thought was an established, successful band, which to me at the time it was, absolutely, between that and that phone call, I'd done all this work to try and make myself even better at what I did, through learning songs quickly. I was still doing lots of work playing to click and playing to music and doing all that. But what that meant was, when I got that phone call, I was ready. So what I wanted to kind of like put across is that I think when you get a gig, it's not about necessarily opening doors, getting your foot in the door. It's more about opening your eyes into what skills you need to be a professional, to earn a living, and to continue to do that. So it's more about that, the experience, and giving yourself that experience, what is possible, and then what you need to do just to make it work. So yeah, and like I said, I got that phone call, and again, the Brian Ferry gig, I did that for 3 years doing his corporate shows. I was on the Olympia album, and that was all from that one phone call and all this work that had gone beforehand. So yeah, I hope this has helped in some way. I'm pretty sure it's pretty rambly, as always, but you know me, I like to ramble. I hope you're having a good day, I hope you're having a good week. If you have any questions or any subjects you'd like me to cover, then please leave them in the comments. I will do my absolute best. But I will see you again next week for another subject, and I hope you're having an awesome week and day and all of that jazz. Alright, I'll speak to you guys later. Bye.